Greetings, Internet, and welcome to Aaron Plays, and I hope you're doing fantastically well. This will be episode, I had to double check, episode 35 of my playthrough of Into the Woods by GMT Games, which is part of the Great Battles in American Civil War series and deals with the Battle of Shiloh. We're up to the 8 a.m. turn. I'm playing both sides, using the AM trick draw to see which brigade activates and then playing them. Well, I'd say to the best of my ability, but who knows? The amount of rules, special rules, extra rules, and so forth that comes in there. But yeah, the game is progressing. There is at least movement, interaction, and so forth. So if you could do your housekeeping, it's a like, subscribe, and any comments will be much appreciated. But let's go down to the map and see what is going on. Okay, we drew the end of the last video. We drew McClelland Chit at the pool, so it's up to him to activate. Now, McClelland it's the first division of the Army Tennessee. He's over here, and his brigades at the beginning of this turn were given missions. That's what these little numbers are here. So that 3 relates to Marsh's brigade. He must move to that position and location. We also have, who else do we actually have part of McClelland's? He's the green banner. Okay, so Wraith. He's got a blue 3 on him. So where's he going? Over to here. Okay, they must move towards those locations unless they have line of sight and within 5 hexes of a Confederate unit, which is a bit tricky to get that kind of closeness and line of sight through all these woods. And then it looks like there's a yellow brigade. Who's in charge of that one? Cannot move ATM, but can free move. Okay, that's right. That's why the little cross is there, because he decided that that brigade wasn't going to move. So they're not actually doing, even though they're part of McClellan's, is down here again. That's denoted by the green at the top of the counters. He's not actually that brigade. Whoever who he is, Hare's brigade is not activating. Right. With that in mind, then let's do something. So this is a Union Brigade missions. There's a chart in the actual box. And the actual orders were determined during the divisional order phase, which is earlier in the turn sequence. And each of the brigades was given a order to accomplish. Then they are in effect until the brigade starts an activation with its leader occupying the hex in question, and all units are in command. Or at the start of the next activation following any unit of the brigade being targeted by any small arm fire or artillery fire, or any unit of the brigade is within 5 hexes and line of sight to an enemy unit at the start of an activation. So those are the restrictions. It doesn't say we can't move beyond. Or does it? The brigade must move towards the location each time it activates, but while en route is not required to incur fatigue, so it doesn't have to go hell for leather. The brigade must move by the shortest route in terms of movement points when moving towards their objectives. The brigade may maneuver freely after meeting any one of the following conditions. Okay. So it doesn't say we can't move beyond, but it doesn't say we can, so I'm going to assume we can't. So when these guys get to around here, it's pretty much as far as they go. Right, well, let's start with Marsh's brigade. We don't need to change their orders. I know there actually isn't an order chip for him, so we best give him one. Boom, 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 boom. What are the orders? There we go. Give him advance orders. Right. Okay, so let's move. Got to remember I am the other way around now. So yeah, when I move Confederates, I've got to turn them one way and I've got to turn them the other way, and this because they're upside down. Okay, so 1.5 3, 4.5, 6. That little 3 is going to be annoying now because it's in the way. Let's put it there. Okay. What we got in this hex? Ooh. 48th Illinois. So they're allowed a free facing change, and I always go the wrong way. But then he'll go 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6. Then the 20th Illinois. It's a free facing change. He could go by the road movement, so he will. So that's 1 per hex, and then he gets the extended order marker. Where is it? Oh, blimey, extended column. There we go. That'll go behind him. Then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's going to be behind. And boom, 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 boom. There we go. Yeah, it seems to be all from Illinois. Okay, so he'll then do the same thing. And because he's got 7, he's within stacking limits. Free facing change. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Move marsh to here. Actually, we'll keep him on the road. That helps for command control. And we'll take his little 3 marker. We'll stick it on the counter, couldn't we? There we go. We'll stick that on the counter to remind us that's where it is. And then the artillery. Okay, this is just showing that they are part of or being attached to Marsh's brigade. So facing change, maximum 2 batteries can be. So that's 3. And then moving through the woods, I think it's 3 for artillery. Just double check. It is. That's 3, 6. That's as far as I can go because the infantry are blocking the road. This artillery over here. Free change. And then he'll go 3. Do another change. 6. Now he's on the road. 7. There we go. I'm just saying, marking these with red counters to show that they're part of Marsh's Red Brigade. So that's the 1st Brigade of McClellan's done, or actually technically the 2nd Brigade. 2nd Brigade, 1st Division, Army of Tennessee. This cavalry is classed as an independent brigade, so he might as well move. It's independent, part of McClellan's division. So that's 2 to get onto the go through the woods. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10. Oh, not I haven't even got 10. Do okay. Now Wraith will be the next division, and they need to move towards Shiloh Church, which is over here. But I'll press the right button over here. Now, I believe, as I said, they've only got 1 active. I'll just double check AMs for the Union Order of Battle. McClellan has got 2 in here, nothing in here, and got an efficiency of 2. So he will actually have 2 activations during the course of the turn. There'll be 2 AM kits in the pool. This out of command unit here will only get 1 of those because he's out of command. So I can choose when to do it. So if I activate him now, he won't be able to activate in the next chit that's drawn. And we know they're moving towards this position. So let's move and see how close we can actually get to that. Because they need to form, because Sherman's brigade over here, Hildebrand, brigade is getting hammered. So we probably need them filling up the line there. But they've got to move as quick as possible towards that Shiloh church. So that's 3. Sorry, 1.5, 3. Now, that's 4.5, but it's also crossing a gully. Nope, my bad. That's a ridge. That is actually higher. That is higher than that. So that's 1.5, 3, 4.5. Cross a ridge. No, there's no extra. Okay, and then he needs to, I'll tell you what, when he goes into that hex there, he will change facing. But add 1 free facing change per hex you move. That still takes him 1.5, 3. So that's 4.5. And then he moves to there. And then faces changes again. And that's his 6. Okay. So the other ones are going to pull up upon that. So 1.5, 3, 4.5 to there. 1.5, 3, 4.5. We are moving closer, technically. Wraith can move, and he will move to there. This unit here won't move because he's this activation. So I need to get an activation 1 marker on Wraith. And to be fair, should also have done that for Marsh. There we go. Yeah, and also duplicate these orders there. Flip that. No, clone that. There we go. All right, so that's Wraith. And as we just discovered, or not discovered, but we know, cannot move 8 a.m., but can freely move 9 a.m. onwards. Right, so McLaren himself will move onto the road. And I'll give him an A1 as well. And that's him done. Let's bring that back up. Clear all the mood markers. Oh. Let's try that again, shall we? Bring that back up and bring up the Union thing here so I can move the chit down to the right box and then draw the next chit, which is also another Union. Look, unassigned Army of Tennessee. But who exactly is now unassigned from the Army of Tennessee? That is a damn fine question. I'm going to have a look and then I'll get back to you. Okay, this seems to apply mainly to the artillery. So this artillery battery has restrictions that it can't really move very far from where it starts. And if it does, it can only move within 1 hex of the Pittsburgh landings. I think that's what they say. Oh. You hear the rustle of the rule book. A glass battery may move 1 hex per activation within Pittsburgh landings field. It's got a large field, including any facing changes. It doesn't need to move. There's no one near its position. It's got a phenomenal range. And look at how it's Peter, the position it's actually in. I don't think you can see anything from there, can it? It is quite high up, but I don't think you can see, definitely can't see any Confederate units from that distance there. This battery, however, can move. So there's no restriction on it saying that it can't. I'll put it that way. If one of you guys can let me know if I'm doing something wrong with it, just I'm reading the unassigned units. Okay, the Union unassigned artillery, Army of the Tennessee assets, activates with the unassigned AM. Unassigned units have a maximum of 3 AMs and cannot receive grants favor. And it goes on about artillery. Most of the Union artillery is directly assigned to a division. Fair enough. This battery isn't. Divisional artillery activates with a separate brigade. when that division is activated. Fair enough. But it doesn't say what happens with these guys. So it doesn't say it has to stay in reserve status, hasn't got a reserve marker on it. So unless I'm missing something, I think I can be moving that. Unless I read the special rules. All Union units except for Peabody's brigade and its detachments are in reserve at the start of the scenario. Commands leave reserve status and become alerted either involuntarily or voluntarily using historical alert schedule. And there's nothing on the historical alert schedule. This is why I do get a bit confused by just the sheer amount of special rules. Alert schedule doesn't mention anything about artillery or anything like that, though it does say at 9 a.m. all commands are alert. So in other words, I believe therefore now, after reading that these batteries are in reserve until 9 a.m. Which brings me to the belief, looking briefly at the map, there is no one able to utilize that Union unassigned units at the present moment. I mean, this artillery here is assigned to Sherman. They are part of Sherman's division. They haven't been assigned to a brigade yet, but they are part of the division. These batteries here, okay, they're part of McClellan's division, though I've assigned, and I've actually only meant to assign one battery to Marsh. I better take that one off. He's part of McClellan still, but not assigned to. Yeah, I just not the whole count there, you donut. Just a little two. Right. Yeah. I just double checked. Each Union brigade can have a maximum of one battery. And a battery is up to 6 guns. Well, anything that's got the same name, so that's Burrows artillery, they can be attached to Marsh. So anyway, enough of that. Doesn't look like the Union can utilize that shit this time. So I'm just going to put that off the board for now. Well, it's done for the turn, isn't it? So let's bring that up. That comes off. So the unassigned doesn't get used. The next chit drawn is another Union. Sherman. There we go. All right, let's get Sherman doing something. Well, he's been tested, isn't he? Okay, he's got. Well, how many Shermans? Let's bring this up. Sherman has an efficiency of 2. He's got 2 damage, so he's got 2 activations this turn. He's also got 2 routed units, but we can't really do anything with those until he goes into reserve status. So the question is, what to do with Sherman? Now he's got Hildebrand, Buckland, so that's 3rd Brigade, 4th Brigade, 1st Brigade McDowell. I'm referring to my handy dandy Shiloh battle book that I've got here. So he's the 5th Division. He actually has 1, 2, 3, 4 brigades. There's 3 around there, and then we have Stuart's brigade is the one that's way over on the flank. Now he only gets a maximum of 2 activations anyway. He's somewhere over there. He is. Okay, he's out of command, but he needs to move across to be back in command, doesn't he? But someone needs to be in his place, because at the moment there's no one pushing up over there, but he is defending that field at the present moment until someone can come up behind him. But he gets 2 activations, maximum of 2 activations. He's out of command. Sherman's getting 1. Sorry, Sherman's getting 2, so therefore he only gets 1 activation. So he won't use that this time. See how the situation develops. So going back on for what Sherman is up to, McDowell which is the yellow, which is all these guys over here. I don't see any need for the Union to retreat. I think the best place for them to fight is on the higher ground amongst this shit terrain. Now, what we do, if we now going to do McDowell, so going through the sequence of play, so bring that up. Doop, doop, doop. There we go. So we're in change order phase. Do we want to change any of their orders? They're all currently on advance. Yeah. I think McDowell, we will change to attack. So he can move forward and start shooting at these rebels as they're trying to get out of this goddamn awful terrain. Okay. So we need to bring up the change order table, which is probably about this way. There we go. Brigade order change. So modifiers. Is the brigadier stacked with his divisional leader? No. No. And brigadier's order rating, his order rating is -1. So he's not the most brightest, keenest guy in the park. So that's a risk. What is his actual? He's also cautious. But I'd like them to move forward to engage. So high is good. 7 -1 is 6. He changes his orders from, well, to attack. Really, technically, were they actually under any orders? I suppose they were. Because they were originally under, not refusal, resting, whatever the blinking order is for that. Reserve. They were under reserve. They're now going to go to attack. Once I find the order chair. Too many orders. Right, so McDowell will change to attack. Right, so that means his units. Oh, do we want to do that? Yes, it's done by the division. So any others? So looking at Hildebrand, he's currently under advance. I don't think we want to change him to attack. We want him to have the ability to withdraw before. I mean, he's only literally got not many units left. So we'll leave him as is. Wraith is from a different division. And these units we'll leave under advance as well. I mean, artillery is automatically advanced. So Buckland, he's under advance. I think we'll go for a change. Oh, he's out of command, is he? He was, yes. So again, he's only going to have one activation. I think we want to do it now. We want to form up around sort of this upper area here. So, okay. So we've got to change their orders. It is good. All right. So they go to attack as well.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Nearly every episode she interferes. Right. Okay. Movement then. So I can Hildebrand's staying under advance. Okay. So we will start with McDowell's. His artillery definitely don't have a shot there. But they can move and shoot. That's a good point. Under attack. Yes, artillery can move and shoot. So how many guns have we actually got here? We got 6. Now, let's just zoom in a little bit closer. If they move to here, do they have line of sight to here? Right. So that and that. Let's just Ooh. That's one level lower than that. If the guns move to, which I believe is one level lower, it's still in 2 hexes though. That should be fine. Okay. So the guns move to here. Now that costs them 3 movement points. Moving through the woods. Or they can move and fire. The classes haven't been under advanced orders anyway. But moving through the woods, so they've got the full 8 movement points. 3. They can move up to half their movement and fire, but there will be modifiers, but they will fire onto the 38 Tennessee. Let's bring this up now and go to the fire tables. Right. So type of battery. Now there are 2 types of guns in here. We've got some with L, which are 6-pound smoothbore, and some with H12, which I think are howitzers. Let's have a look. So we've got, zoom in a little bit, 6-pound smoothbore and H12, 12-pound howitzers. Little RF means they can rapid fire, but then you take a risk of ammunition shortage, quite a risk. Maximum range 12, maximum range 10. They're 2 hexes away. You've got a +3 modifier for the howitzers and a +2 modifier for the smoothbore. They can fire separately, so they will do because they've got different advantages. Okay, so that's, yeah, that's the advantage. That's that page done. So the smoothbore have got a +2 and the howitzer have got +3. Right. Because it's within 2 hexes, okay, looks like they do have included a 2 hex range here for some reason. I thought they fired on the small arms table. Nah, that's not, that's strength points, donut. Okay, yeah. If it fires within 3 hexes, the artillery fire on this table here. Okay, so we've got 2 lots of the H12, and we now go through all the modifiers. So it was +2, sorry, H12 was +3. Then the terrain effects, once through the woods, and then once for the unit being in the woods, it leaves it at +1. Massed target 8.34. I think that's for round shot, but let's just double check. Oh darn. I've forgotten about moving it or within line of sight of an enemy unit. The artillery. The artillery and enemy units rule. They can't do, well, they can do that. They've got to do a morale check. And it's got a +2 modifier for moving within 2 hexes of an enemy unit. Yeah. So if you were screaming at the screen, it took me the time. I was working out line of sight. No, the artillery, it can't move there. Well, it can, but it risks disordering. It would actually have a +4 modifier. Remembering that this is a Union, or is it only Union infantry that are suffering the additional +1? I think it's all Union units. Any first aid Union okay, Union infantry units, not artillery parry. Too many rules. Hold on there. Okay, there's 2 separate things: route modification for the Union, and also up to including the 9 a.m. modification. The 9 up to and including modification applies to everybody. So they get +1 for the UDD for that, plus going within 2 hexes of an enemy unit. If they're going within 3, you test for the amount of units, so it would be a modifier. So that would be a +1 modifier for this, for the 38 Tennessee. And if you're moving within 2 and line of sight, yeah, archery ending its move within 2 hectares in line of sight of enemy units adds 2 to the DRM for its utility in addition to the DRM for the qualifying enemy unit. So that'd be at +3, and he's got a morale of 6. And if he disorders, he goes back. So I think that's too risky. Keep the gun there. Right. Okay. So what we'll move into that place then is this guy for 1.5, and then there for 3. And then he will fire. So remember, the maximum amount of increments that can fire out of a hex is 7. So he'll be firing with 7 increments. Right. Yeah, I'm not going to edit and clap it out. I'm going to let you see my mistakes, warts and all. And then when I do discover them, you can then see how easy it is to make mistakes. All right. So he's armed with the rifles and he's at 2 hex range. So let's go back to the previous fire table. He's rifled muskets up to 2 hex ranges at +1. Now, is this the time to use something I picked up last turn, which was that battle event? Because it can only be used if these were 2 hexes or further. You know what? I think it might be the time to use it. In the last episode, I picked up a battle event which allowed for 1 Confederate or 1 Union fire to actually be a no fire. So the class is fired, but it has no effect. I will then let's just pause the video. I'm going to move that battle chit to say it's been used. Okay, back in the room. So it's been used. So it's representing, just ineffective shooting. All right. Well, this unit then goes 1.5, 3, and we'll change his facing, which I think not that way, that way. And he will fire. Okay. Now, actually, before we do anything, it's classed as no fire. Okay, yes, no fire. All right, so I was wondering if he could have still reaction fired to that unit, but he couldn't because it was classed as no fire. All right, so his fire, again, 7 increments. He's also armed with rifle muskets, so that's again still +1. Going on to the next page. And these are the adjustments. So range effects, okay, we've just seen that, +1. Terrain effects, he's firing through the woods, so it's basically 0, and then to a target that's in the woods, that's -1. It's not artillery, it's not mass, it's prep fire. No prep fire is only adjacent. Target is none of these really apply. No one's got low ammo at the present moment, so no one's fatigued. Okay, so total effect is -1 and 7 increments firing. So we're in this column here, and then we got all the dice, and it goes down the bottom. Then rolls a 5. Okay, that's a natural 5, so it's going to be a low ammo. Notice a little natural 5. It's got little 2 stars in it. For ammo depletion results, use the natural non-modified die roll. Okay, so we'll do that in a moment. And we're on that column. That's D +1 drops to a D because it was a -1 modifier. So we've got a little D. So we're going to mark this unit as ammo low. It's so we have an ammo low marker. I thought we did. Firing. There we go. Ammo depleted. Okay, I'll presume next one would be ammo. If I did deplete it again, yeah, it takes it out of ammo. Okay, so just making sure that it's the correct thing to do. So he is depleted. I must admit, I do like this. I mean, in the actual game, you start getting stacks of counters on top of counters. That would be a ammo depleted marker, then you've got ammo, and then you got it just collapsed units and such forth, the stacks do get absolutely mighty. Right. So anyway, we know there's a D result on the 38th Tennessee. So they got to take a morale check, and their morale is 6. They're all 3. They're fine. Now we want to do reaction return fire. Notice he's out of covered arc here, that unit, but he can change his facing and fire. I think he's got to do a UDD, but I'll just double check. And it's got no one in its front hex. It can try to do it, and it's got to pass it's got to do a UDD. If it passes the UDD, it can. If it fails the UDD, it can, but it will be then disordered, and then it can do its return fire. It's actually going to be happening simultaneously. So let's try its UDD. It rolls a 3, so he changes facing perfectly, and he can do this per brigade activation or per activation. So if he's then approached by these guys, he can still do it again. Right. So let's just change his facing, which is that way. And he returns fire with, now he's got muskets, which are better at 1 hex range. If we look at this here, so muskets at 1 hex range, or adjacent, actually have a +2 against a rifle musket +1. But at 2 hex range, they're at -1 opposed to a +1. So they're, as you would expect, less effective at longer range. So at -1, and then the terrain effects are the same. So we had it's the range effects with -1, terrain effects firing through the woods, minus another 1, and into a wood hex, another -1. So net -3. Okay. Again, same amount of increment. So we're looking at the top of the chart here, and they roll a 2 -3 is nothing, no result. Okay. Now then, they've only got 3 movement points. Moving on to this slope will cost extra. So we will have this guy change his facing, wrong way. Okay, and he'll go 1.5, 3. Definitely can't see this guy. So that's him done. That's him done. I think that's McDowell done. Now, going back to the artillery. Yeah, you can't move close, especially in this terrain. It's bloody horrible without taking morale checks. Do we move the guns from here to here? We've already worked out there's a +3 morale check. Now, the thing is, if they fail the morale, they become disordered and don't move. If they fail by more than 2, they actually start losing guns. And they're going to need a 3. So if they fail by 2, so if they roll 5 or higher, they'll lose guns, and they'll lose 1 gun per every 2 over. So if I roll a 9, they will lose 3 guns. That's too much of a risk. I reckon the battery stays there. Okay, McDowell, we will move and keep him on the road and move him to there. All right, under attack. Okay, so that's McDowell's brigade done. And I'm going to put his little A1 mark activation to remind me that he's done. Okay, over next to Buckland. Okay, so he, remember these guys can only activate once because they're out of command, but they're going to activate now. They've also they have a minimum of 1 activation, so even though they're out of command of their commander, they can still activate. Right, okay, so this brigade, and it's going to go 1.5, 3. I think he's got to fire into now. Hmm. Is that a sensible thing to do? Is that a sensible thing to do? Because he's only got one activation. These guys, we know, have got at least another one. So he's exposing his flank, but he can do reaction facing change. And talking about reaction facing change, he can try that now as well. So he will try. As he's approached, which he does. You can only change one vertex, and he can do it once per activation. This is a class as a separate activation. Clicking the actual counter. That's all he can do, is that. So at least the shot is not coming through his rear. It's not technically coming through his flank either. So yeah. All right. So this unit firing, getting 7 increments. He is armed with a musket, so we know that's now -1. -1 for this, and -1 for the woods itself is net -3. So net -3. Oh, 8 becomes a 5. Remember, it has to be a natural 5 for it to bring up low ammo. So we're looking at this table here. It rolled a 5. That's a D+1. We have to wait. D+1 on the 38 Tennessee. Roll 6 becomes a 7. He has now disordered. Okay. Carrying on, moving the rest of the Bucklands. 1.5, 3. One and a half, 3. Oh, 1.5. No, you'll actually go 1.5, 3. Probably better. Oh, I didn't change. Oh, blimey. Oh, yes, sorry. That's his marker. I was starting to think, wait, what's going on here? Right. Yeah, I did change the orders to attack. So, yes, that's fine. No one is in range, though. Maximum range through these woods is 2. Okay, so that's Buckland. Has he got any artillery? No. Right, I'm now going to activate this cavalry. That's 3. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to stick Sherman on the cavalry. He has got a command range of 9, so I'm trying to get Buckland. 2, 4, 6, 8. Not quite. Down the road, though, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. McDowell, even though technically he's a lot further, he's actually closer, if you see what I mean. Buckland has had an activation. Okay, so that's this artillery is classed as a separate brigade until it's assigned to a brigade and it moves when the divisional commander. So free chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That will do. Okay, so what are we going to do? Because race is a different division. Sherman's, I think that's all Sherman's dudes. Oh no, we've got some cavalry over here. That's got 1 activation. I don't think we really want it to be loitering around Lost Field. Do we? No. But it's only got 1 activation. What to do with the cavalry? It is armed with carbines. Okay. Okay. Let's activate it now. Rechange. 1. 2, 3. Crossing the stream 4. Ah, is a stream +1 for cavalry? Just got to double check. Yes, so that's 4. 5, 6. There we go. I'm going to mark him as activation 1 to remind me that he can't be activated or again. Right. Okay. Hildebrand then. Remember, we're not activating the other division as yet. He has got effectively this unit. Okay, so Hildebrand had 53rd, 57th, and 77th Ohio. Of those, the 53rd and the 57th have routed, and the 77th is disordered. So, however, they are defending the bridge. And this artillery is attached. Okay, so who can that artillery see? Well, you can definitely see these guys. And it's within 2 hex range. Do we pull back or do we fire? If we fire, do we also we can still pull back? But it's going to have half movement rate and he's not going to move very far. We know these guys have got to go here rather than here. We may try to recover him there. What decisions, because he's got a +1 on the dice. He's got to roll 4 and below to recover his status. Or we can just fire. But if we fire disordered, we'll be firing into guys that are in good order. And he's only armed with a musket. And remembering that this stuff here actually blocks line of sight on the same level. Though I think these guys and these guys are actually above the level of that.
I don't know what to do.
Right. If I was in Hildebrand's position,
I still don't know what to do.
I think they've got to pull back that infantry. And that just gives them free march straight across there, doesn't it? Which we can't allow. Okay. We will attempt to recover morale in that position. So We're not adjacent, so there's no modifier for there. So we've got +1 because it's the union before 9 a.m. They're all a 3. They recover. So let's flip them. Boom. That's all they can do. But at least puts them back on a 7 morale, which is good. These guns will open up on them. Now then, let's just check the line of sight there. Okay, so that level. Okay, so we are firing through the woods. That's fine. If I'm doing this wrong, by the way, I know there's this thing called canopy of trees. I'm trying to get my head around it. That's within 2 hexes. There's nothing to my mind that's going to stop that shot. However, any of you guys who can say otherwise, let me know. Okay, so we've got a TA and a TB. Okay, so TAs and TBs. Oop, wrong way, too much. Right. We're both at +3 at 2, sorry, +2 at 2 hex range. What does SA stand? Includes reboard. Thank you for that information. And the S. When firing archery at these ranges, treat as for small arms fire. It reminds me there. Cool. Right. So they're both at +2. So might as well fire them all combined. 6. 6 steps of artillery at +2. Okay. Terrain effects, as we know. From there to there, we're firing. Okay, he's not in a wood hex. He's in a boundary, which has put a little B on it. What does a little B mean? Woods and boundary hex are -1 to fire through or into. Okay, so it is still -2. So the next +2 from the fire table for the range, -2 for the firing into and through a wood hex. Firing at lower elevation only counts at 4 hexes or beyond. I think that's pretty much it there, isn't it? Okay. So, straight roll. Ooh. 1D +2. Well, that's the first loss done direct by fire. That's a loss of strength point plus a D +2. Ouch, on the 2nd Tennessee. Oh, on a strength point now. Okay, so his strength has gone from 7 to 6, and then he's got to take a D with D +2. So it's 2 higher on this dice. A low roll is required. 3 + 2 is 5. They take it like men from Tennessee should take it. Now, can they return fire? I don't see why not. So they will do so. Musket, we know at 2 hex range is -1 plus the other two is net of -3. Net of -3. But I mean, can the effect? Never really done this before, so let's see what the effect would be. Net -3. High roll is going to be good. That's a 7. Take away 3 is 4. Remember, this is simultaneous. Becomes a 4. That's a straight D roll result on the artillery. Okay. Morale's good though. Morale is 8. They're all 8. Remember they're a +1. So that's a 9. That's a fail. Interesting. Now I think that means that both fail because of the same battery. Ah, yeah, I better double check it. See, there's all this double checking. Is it not? The top unit suffers fire table results. Okay, so it's the top unit that becomes disorder. The other one in the hex has got to do another UDD. Hold on. Top unit suffers fire table results. However, it's eliminate. Oh, no. That doesn't apply. There's always artillery stacked with infantry. No. Stacking max. Oh. Just says the top unit suffers fire table results. However, it is eliminated or suffers. It's got to be careful here. Remember. However, if it is eliminated or suffers a disorder, the player must undertake a UDD for all other units in the hex, ignoring any pluses or minuses from the fire results table. Got there in the end. So, all right. So the other one, he's got a round of 8. Remember, there is a +1 modifier for the Union. Well, 5, he's fine. They have one battery, well, one part of the battery disordered from the fire. The other part is okay. Now, I also think he can fire, but I don't think he wants to because he's got low ammo. And if he fires again and gets another low ammo, then he's ammo depleted. So, is that the case for this one? No. Yes. There is a special. Yeah, I know the special rules, right? I'm surprised the special rules are bloody white in your underpants. All right, okay. A player may, at their option, fire infantry without a -2 DRAM when at low ammo. When using this option, the unit automatically becomes ammo depleted. Okay, they could ignore that -2. See, they are allowed to fire if something fires adjacent to being fired at. So, is there any detriment to doing so? I can't see one. So they will fire. So high is good. Let's see if it's worth working. Well, yeah, we know muskets is and firing through the width is -3, isn't it? So since it's already at -3, plus another -2 because they're at -5, but hey ho. There we go. They're all a 9. Okay, so the 9. Oh, going to bring. There are 6 to 8 of them, so they rolled a 9, but they've got -5 takes it to 4. That's just a D on the artillery. Now, the artillery is already disordered. So it's rounds at 6. So this is the reason why that infantry fired. Okay. They roll a 3. If they'd failed that, they'd have probably lost some guns. Because that 3 becomes +1 because of the Union disadvantage. But yeah, so that was in the end past it. Right. Well, just get that out of the way for the time being. Okay, so that's those guns fired. Hildebrand himself managed to get those guys going. I think he's going to stay where he is. See, if the guns change their facing, there would have been a +2 modifier on that shot, so they're going to stay as they are at the present moment. Because Hildebrand has still got advance orders. That 3 is actually related to the Shiloh church. So that is actually Sherman done. So I'm going to put an A1 on Hildebrand, and A1 on Sherman. Bring back Sherman and the Kepi and the. There we go. And this. All right. Move that off. Move the Kepi off. Put that in Sherman's little activation pool and draw the next chit, which will be Withers. Didn't really want Withers now, but there we go. And that will be in the next episode, which will be episode 36. Let's go back to the top and have a little jibber. Is that the best thing to do with Sherman's division? Should I pull them back? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you actually think. If they'd fallen back, then the other guys could have moved up with them, and then there would have been, in my mind, a little bit of a mixed defense. Sherman's holding on as much as possible, going into attack to actually engage the Confederates as they're struggling through the terrain, to my mind, feels like the best thing rather than falling back. But that Union morale is so brittle, isn't it? Every time it's like that. Just a +1 modifier makes so much difference. But there we go. So we had fighting. Next up will be Withers trying to cross that stream, and he's already got that traffic jam if you didn't in the previous episode. So it would have been better if Hinderman, he's got 3 activations. Or has he got 4? I can't remember. At least 3, and he hasn't done 1 yet. And I suppose that's the beauty of the system. His guys are hot, not moving, not doing anything, and that's created that little bottleneck there. But that's the nature of the battle. If you read many accounts, there was a lot of confusion, and units getting in each other's way and mistaken fire. That happens. So it's representing that quite nicely. Thank you for watching. If you do the housekeeping, the like, subscribe, and as I say, comments all the way through. And all I can do is keep saying, please make comments, because that's how I keep engaged. There are a lot, I'm bringing up, this special rule book. It's a lot compared, and the game itself is a complex game, so it does make brain overload. But I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I hope you guys are. So until next time, play games, have fun, buy internet.